Why are so many congregations losing members or closing their doors? Could your own church be heading toward decline without you even realizing it? Is your congregation experiencing a slow death? Are you and your fellow believers slowly burying your church? In this video, we'll explore the urgent message of the dying church article and uncover reasons why many Christian and Messianic churches are struggling. Stay with us until the end to learn how you can be part of the solution. The article A Dying Church presents a sobering analogy of a declining congregation in the Western world, Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, or among Christian and Messianic communities in Asia. A church that is doing nothing for the public is on its way to the cemetery. All its members who are doing nothing are acting as pallbearers. All who are so busy with their own affairs that they have no time to devote to the Lord's cause are making the mourning wreath. The brother, who says nothing at all, is driving the hearse. The ones who are constantly drawing back when advanced moves are to be made a throwing flowers on the grave. The brother who is continually talking of the hard times in the church is preaching the funeral sermon and singing the burial hymns. And thus lies the church buried, free from all cares. Brother, which of these acts are you performing? This vivid imagery describes the exact reasons why churches experience loss of members over varying periods, from lack of community involvement to resistance, to change and constant negativity. While these challenges and problems are often discussed in the context of Western churches, several Christian and Messianic congregations in Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia also face similar struggles. Many regions that once saw rapid church growth are now experiencing a rise in tiny, struggling congregations with only a handful of mostly middle-aged and elderly members, fragmented due to internal disputes, doctrinal issues, leadership struggles, and economic hardships. Kenya, for instance, has a big share of Sunday-observing and Sabbath-keeping congregations, with between 20 and 80 adult members. The congregations split quite often but also receive members from other troubled Christian or Messianic groups operating from the same neighborhoods. Let's break down these warnings and explore why so many churches are closing, and what we can do about it. 1. From this article, we learn that the lack of community engagement by the church makes it irrelevant to the people. The statement, "A church that is doing nothing for the public is on its way to the cemetery," warns that churches failing to engage with their communities are doomed to closure. A 2023 report found that 4,500 Protestant churches closed in the United States in 2019, while only 3,000 new churches opened, showing a net decline of congregations. A similar trend is emerging in Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia, where urbanization and shifting social values have led to declining church involvement. Many churches in these regions refuse to offer practical community services, making them less or not at all valued by society. Without active outreach in their respective communities and lands, a congregation loses its purpose and direction. A good example that comes to mind is the First Sabbath-keeping church, which I joined in January 1988. Its membership declined from 40 men and women to 6 people over a period of a few years. It now has 12 members and no potential to attract more people because it does nothing to the people of that area. I also know a Sunday-observing church not far from my home, which has, over the years, lost 2/3 of its members to Sabbath-keeping groups in the area, more so because it had no impact on the community. Churches that offer social services, such as food banks, addiction recovery programs, and financial assistance to the less fortunate, tend to retain and attract more members. 2. This amazing article also notes passive members contribute to the decline and possible death of their church. The article states, all its members who are doing nothing are acting as pallbearers. Many churchgoers prefer to attend services passively rather than actively participating in the church's growth. They may attend weekly services regularly, but they never do anything that can bring in more members. Most, though, miss services and fellowship meetings quite often. A 2021 poll revealed that church membership in the United States dropped below 50% for the first time in history. Another study found that only 39% of self-identified Christians attend church weekly. 70% of these Christians do not go to church regularly. Many congregations in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, continental Europe, and the United Kingdom have a similar problem of the majority of their professing Christians not attending church services regularly. In sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and Asia, members expect their church to serve them but fail to contribute their time, skills, or financial support. Most people in those lands join congregations which has something for them and contribute little or nothing of value to the growth of the church. To counteract this trend, churches must create more engagement opportunities, such as mentorship programs, small groups, and volunteer roles and responsibilities, to encourage active participation. 3. The author of this article insists busyness by members kills church commitment and invites its death and decay. According to the article, all who are so busy with their own affairs that they have no time to devote to the Lord's cause are making the morning wreath. In the 1950s, nearly 70% of Americans attended church weekly, but today, only 22% report for church services on either Sunday or Saturday. This dramatic decline highlights a significant and worrying shift in religious engagement over the past decades. 66% of young adult men and women leave their churches after high school, citing a lack of relevance and connection. Many of them feel traditional religious institutions fail to address their real-life challenges and concerns and, in turn, seek fulfillment in other activities, more so earning a living and piling up wealth. In fast-growing cities in North America, Western Europe, New Zealand, and Australia, many believers struggle to balance work, family, and spiritual life, leaving church attendance as an afterthought. In most third-world countries, including Kenya, where I live, a significant percentage of men prefer to work on Sundays or Saturdays rather than go to church. Most congregations in continents of Africa, Asia, Central America, and South America are patronized by women and few men. The majority of male members of society believe in money rather than religion. Churches must adapt to modern lifestyles by offering flexible service times, online ministry, and family-oriented activities to keep young, middle-aged, and elderly members engaged. Believers must also be taught and trained to prioritize their spiritual welfare, even as they mind their physical needs. 4. The author of the article rightly observes that silence about problems leads to the death of congregations. The passage states, "The brother who says nothing at all is driving the hearse." When folks avoid discussing financial struggles, leadership issues, or declining attendance, their church risks missing critical growth opportunities. Silence often leads to misinformation, frustration, and a lack of trust within the congregation. This results in discord, divisions, and infighting among the members. The decline of such a congregation is the ultimate outcome of such behavior by leadership and laity. By fostering an environment where concerns can be openly shared, congregations create a culture of problem solving rather than one of avoidance. Transparency in money matters helps build confidence among members and encourages greater generosity and stewardship among members. Leaders who communicate openly about challenges invite collaboration and fresh ideas from the congregation. Accountability ensures that decisions align with the church's mission, preventing financial mismanagement or leadership conflicts from escalating. Regularly and openly addressing declining attendance through honest conversations can reveal underlying issues, such as moral laxity, disengagement, ineffective outreach, or changing community needs. By acknowledging these struggles early, churches can develop strategies to reconnect with their parishioners and better serve their communities. A proactive approach ensures that challenges become opportunities for revitalization rather than causes for decline or possible death of the church. 5. The article also notes that fear of positive change prevents the growth and revival of congregations. The statement, "The ones who are constantly drawing back when advance moves are to be made a throwing flowers on the grave," describes those who resist progress. 70% of pastors in the United States believe their congregations are resistant to change, making it harder to address problems. Most members dismiss attempts by their leaders to introduce meaningful change. Others choose to remain silent or walk out of the church for good if they feel displeased with suggestions made by their pastors for positive change or meaningful development. Many churches don't close because of theology but due to internal conflicts and wrangles centering on proposed changes or conservative approaches to issues. A point worth noting is that 94% of growing churches have some form of modern worship and embrace digital outreach. While traditional churches close down at twice the rate of those that offer contemporary services. In many rural congregations in Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and Latin America, reluctance to adopt technology and modern worship styles makes it harder to attract younger generations. To survive, churches must balance tradition with innovation while remaining faithful to Scripture. 6. The author of the article opines that a negative mindset accelerates the decline of a congregation. The article warns, "The brother who is continually talking of the hard times in the church is preaching the funeral sermon and singing the burial hymns. Negativity breeds discouragement. A congregation that constantly focuses on decline, financial struggles, or dwindling numbers creates an atmosphere of hopelessness. Churches that actively communicate a hopeful and inspiring vision for the future tend to attract and retain more members. When congregations feel they are part of a meaningful mission, they engage more deeply in church activities and outreach programs. This sense of purpose fosters a welcoming environment, encouraging both new visitors and long-time members to stay involved. Pastors who prioritize outreach create a culture of service that resonates with both their congregations and their surrounding communities. Focusing on meeting community needs, such as supporting local charities, hosting events, and offering counseling services, congregations become more relevant and accessible. As a result, people are more likely to feel connected and committed, leading to higher attendance and overall growth. On the other hand, churches that primarily focus on internal conflicts or maintenance often struggle to sustain engagement. While addressing internal challenges is necessary, a church that lacks a forward-looking approach may feel stagnant to members. A healthy balance between internal stability and external outreach is crucial for long-term success, ensuring the church remains vibrant and impactful in its mission. This applies globally, whether in North America, Africa, Latin America, or Asia. Churches must focus on solutions, celebrating victories, inspiring faith, and casting a hopeful vision for the future. 7. According to the article, churches don't collapse overnight but erode gradually. The article concludes with a chilling image, and thus lies the church buried, free from all cares. One of the primary reasons for church decline is the unwillingness of leaders and members to adapt to societal changes while maintaining their core beliefs. Many Sunday-observing and Sabbath-keeping churches remain stuck in outdated traditions and fail to engage younger generations, who seek more interactive and relevant spiritual experiences. As a result, attendance dwindles, and the church loses its ability to function as a thriving community of faith. Financial instability further accelerates the decline. As dwindling congregations struggle to support pastoral staff, maintain church buildings, and fund outreach programs. Without sufficient resources, churches often reduce their activities, making them even less attractive to potential new members. This creates a vicious cycle where fewer attendees lead to financial struggles, which in turn makes it even harder for the church to grow and sustain itself. Weak leadership is another significant factor, as many churches lack dynamic, visionary leaders who can inspire change and renewal. Without strong leadership, congregations may become divided, resistant to new ideas, or overly focused on internal conflicts rather than outreach and mission. Over time, these struggles lead to fragmentation, with members either leaving for more vibrant churches or disengaging from faith communities altogether, leaving behind a shell of what was once a thriving congregation. Here is a wake-up call for churches. If your church is experiencing declining attendance, financial struggles, or disengaged members, now is the time to act. The good news? The decline is not inevitable. What can you do? 1. Get involved. Join a ministry, volunteer, or start a small group. 2. Support your church financially. Even small donations help sustain church programs. 3. Engage with your community. Invite friends, participate in outreach, and make the church visible. 4. Encourage leadership. Provide constructive feedback and offer solutions. 5. Embrace change. Be open to new worship styles, technology, and outreach methods. Be part of the solution. If you found this message meaningful, please like this video, comment your thoughts, and share it with others who need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss future content.